Okay. Hello, I think this is working. Hey guys, if you guys can see me right now, there is a chat box. Do me a favor and just type something. This is my first time using this software, so I want to make sure everyone can actually see me. Hi Julia, hi Nadine. Hey, I think Palin. Hey guys, how are you? Thank you so much. Hi Rochelle. Hey guys. Hi. So for those of you who don't know who I am, oh, hi Cheryl. Hi, nice to see you. My name is Rhiannon, and I'm a business coach for female entrepreneurs who are launching or growing their online service-based businesses. So if you are here today, today we'll be going over really the steps that will take to make a successful online business. I know that things are a little bit chaotic in the world right now, so we'll be going over what you can do to actually start or grow a successful online business. We'll be hanging out for about 45 to 60 minutes. So we'll be chatting. It will mostly be about three must-dos that will help you launch your business and then grow it from there. So if you've already launched, or maybe you don't know what to do next, you don't know how to grow, this workshop will help as well. So these are the three biggest things that have really impacted my business, and I know that they will impact you as well. Um, you may have heard some of these before, but I really encourage you to not just brush them off, but to actually use them and implement them, because they really do work. So they've not only helped me with my business, but they have helped all of the women that I've worked with as well to launch and grow their own businesses. So if you are just starting out, or you're thinking about launching your business, or if you've been in business for a little bit but you're not really gaining traction, not really seeing any momentum, then this is for you. Um, if you have anything else open, it may be a good idea to go ahead and close it, just so you get the most out of this. And also, I would encourage you to go ahead and grab a pen and paper so you can write them down. So these are the three biggest steps. And I'd also like to point out that there is a chat box for those of you who just typed in. Awesome, it's working. But if you have any questions, please go ahead and feel free to just type those in. I will answer them. Sometimes it's a little bit delayed, it seems like. So if I don't get to it, you can always type it again, or I will get to it as soon as I can. And if you get skipped for any reason, I will reach out to you, or a member of my team will reach out to you after this has concluded. So let me just double check the settings. I don't think, hey Vina, hey Patricia, I don't think anyone else can see in the chat box, so that is private. So feel free to type whatever questions you want. Nothing is silly, nothing is off limits. Okay, so I really hope that at the end of this session you are crazy inspired and on fire and really just ready to jump in and implement these things. So it's chock full of a lot of great info and tips that are going to help you. So I would love to hear from you guys. First of all, who is actually in business, or who is trying to start their business right now? And I know that a lot of changes are happening in the world. A lot of things are moving really fully online. So now truly is a phenomenal time to be starting a business. So yeah, just type in the chat box. Let me know if you guys already have a business, or if you're in the process of trying to start that up now. I would love to hear. All right. Hi, Trevor. Startup, product based, great traffic. Got in the process. Cool. Okay. It looks like a couple of you already have one. Cheryl's trying to start. Beginning stages. Hi, Sabine's brother. Perfect. Beginning stages. Work remotely. Okay. Awesome. So we've got a lot of newer entrepreneurs. Hi, Yuki. I'm so happy you were able to get that link to work. Awesome. Okay, perfect. All right, awesome. So we've got a lot of people in the beginning stages. All right, awesome. And thanks again. Oh, you are most welcome. You're most welcome. All right, so I want to just cycle back around and tell you a tiny bit about my story. So I started in 2014, and I really wanted a career that would allow me the freedom to travel and work with amazing women. And I really wanted to make an impact doing both. And a traditional job path didn't really offer that for me. So my online business journey began. Now, a lot of you may be in a similar situation right now. I know with the economy and how things are changing, honestly, going online is such a phenomenal thing. And we live in such a great day. Like, we can actually implement that and actually build a business from scratch. Um, so if you are beginning, or if you have been in business for a little while, I'm not sure if you have really struggled growing. But I know for me, if I'm being completely honest, my business was not very successful in the first couple of years. Like, I felt like I was doing all of the things, but I wasn't making any traction. And by some of the comments, I think that that's happening for some of you as well. So I was downloading free ebooks and attending free workshops, and I was trying to research absolutely everything, but I was making literally zero progress in my business. So if you can relate to that, just know when you first start out, it's really, really easy to get into information overload. So for me, what that meant is I was never actually implementing. I didn't have a very good mindset. I was going at things alone and I was really scared. And each and every one of those things really held me back in my business, and they may be holding you back as well. So if you are in the process of information overload, um, I would encourage you to try to take a step back and process what you already know, because you already do know so much, and you bring so much to the table, and you just have to translate that to actually get that in front of your ideal audience and then start growing your business. So for me, after a couple of years of doing the exact same thing and not seeing any results, I was really burnt out, and that's really not a good feeling if you've ever been through it. I was really, really terrified and I didn't quite know what to do next. But when things started to shift is when I started implementing, first of all, mindset. So when I started tuning out the noise, focusing on what I could offer, getting out of information overload, and really just focusing on my own business and what exactly I wanted to achieve, I started seeing results. So even though I was scared, taking action is what made my business kind of explode. And I know that that's going to happen for you as well. So if you if you right now you're frustrated, you're not seeing any traction, or you feel like others in your industry are maybe miles ahead of you and you're tired of doing all of the things, not seeing any results, and maybe you're overwhelmed or you're scared or you're stuck, just know that we all start somewhere. We all start with an idea, especially for our business, but it's nurturing it and taking consistent and intentional action that's going to take you from stuck and overwhelmed with no clue what to do next to actually growing your income, increasing your impact, growing your business as a whole. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into those 3 steps. I want to go ahead and ask you how you are feeling about business right now, whether you are just now starting out or whether you've been in business for a little while. And the reason I'm asking this is because it's really interesting. When I speak to clients about this, I get a whole range of answers. From people are crazy excited and they're looking forward to what the future holds. Sometimes they're not quite sure what the next steps are and they're trying to push through anyway. Sometimes they're also absolutely petrified of moving forward, which kind of causes them to just stay stuck. Can you guys relate to any of those? If you can, go ahead and type yes in that chat box. I would love to hear. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Yes. Okay, awesome. Not awesome, but I know what you mean. So many paths. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Sometimes you can be a combination of the 3. So you can go through different seasons. That is totally normal. The entrepreneurial journey, it's not linear. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that like GIF or GIF, however you say it. But when you think of entrepreneurship and you haven't been an entrepreneur, you kind of think of it like this. But in reality, it's like this. It's kind of crazy. It's not a straight line of just constantly growing and evolving and getting better and meeting your goals and making progress. It's not. It's all over the place. There are peaks and valleys and ups and downs and highs and lows and anything and everything in between. So in any case, no matter which stage you're in, I know that you have big dreams and you're excited about starting your business, or I don't think you would be here. So, right now you don't really know which steps to take. I've got that with a lot. I'm not stuck, but I can relate to what you feel about distraction. Absolutely, Yuki. Yeah, totally. Shiny object syndrome. Um, so if you're questioning yourself, if you're trying to push forward and nothing is working, or you're not quite sure what steps to take next, if no one supports you, particularly if no one supports you, and if you feel like you don't have enough time or money, first of all of these things can kill a business. So sometimes it can feel so overwhelming and like you're never going to get there. But even with all of these obstacles, you absolutely can be successful and you can build and grow your business in spite of them. So if you can get over that and push through these obstacles, that gives you so many opportunities to generate income for your business, impact lives, no matter which industry you're in. Become a leader or an influencer in your industry and really gain momentum and keep moving forward. So, biggest question of the day, how can you do that? Mindset. Mindset. And if you're rolling your eyes right now, don't worry. I was totally there. I did that for 3 or 4 years. I thought hearing about mindset was kind of mumbo jumbo, to be honest. But at the end of the day, your business success comes down to you. So others are going to be able to relate to the struggle that you're going through, and you can, and honestly, depending on where you're at, I think you absolutely should ask for help and support and really surround yourself with a circle of like-minded people. But at the end of the day, the success of your business comes down to you. So that can sound really, really scary and really, really intimidating, but it's really, really a powerful thing. So, in order to actually create the success that you've been dreaming of and hoping for, you need to have the right mindset. Doing part is fine for me. It's getting paid for it that I find hard. That can be a struggle. That honestly, so Palin just made a comment. The doing part is fine for me, but it's getting paid for it that I find hard. A lot of that boils down to mindset. We've also got, hi, Andrea. Andrea said, I really struggle with my worth. Okay. A lot of that really boils down to mindset. And it's just, first of all, I want to say, anyone here, like, you absolutely, you have a seat at the table. You deserve a seat at the table, and you have the skills and you have the information, and you absolutely can go ahead and implement what you know and start growing and making traction. But you have to believe that you can, and you have to know that you can. And I believe in literally every single one of you here, because you are here. You're taking that first step. You are growing your business. You are trying to figure out how to take those next steps. And honestly, mindset is what is going to make and break things. You can throw spaghetti at a wall 50 million times, and eventually some strategy of that spaghetti you're going to throw at a wall is going to stick and you're going to get results. You can work with a variety of different people in a variety of different industries. You can niche down. You can do all of these different things, and eventually things are going to work. You are going to find success. It may take you a hot minute, but you will. But at the end of the day, it is your mindset and your belief that you deserve to be here, which you do. You can charge for this, which you can, because you absolutely are worth it. And going after that and believing in yourself. And it's also, have you ever seen a confident person, even just someone like walking down the street, like maybe they look arrogant, that's fine, but someone walking with confidence, they're standing up straight, they're walking with purpose, like they emit confidence. And it's the same in business. When you are confident in yourself and when you believe that you can do this, and you have a reason for doing this, other people are going to believe that as well. So all of that ultimately boils down to mindset. And I've worked with multitudes of coaches, and so many of them will say it doesn't matter if you need to take a step back and don't worry about your strategy right now, don't worry about this right now, whatever. It's really getting clear on your mindset and just rewiring your brain, if you struggle with that right now, to just reiterate that you can do this and you deserve to be here and to actually do that. I hope that made sense. I know that it can sound really, really scary, but honestly, it is really, really powerful, and it is such a game changer. So I think oftentimes this is something that's so overlooked, and especially when I first started my business, I rolled my eyes. Like, I thought that it was ridiculous. but I also never really saw results, and I just kept spinning my wheels. So if you are first starting out, I would really, really encourage you to not roll your eyes and just work on your mindset. And you have all of the things that you need. And I know sometimes our to-do list can be a mile long, and it can be really easy to just want to dive in and start working on content or strategy or your website or whatever it is. But what it all boils down to at the end of the day, what you focus on expands. Okay, and what you're putting in is what is going to come out. So what I mean by this is when you're filling your mind, and what you fill your mind with has a significant impact on your outcomes. So that can be your mood or your relationships, your life, your business. All of that is tied in. And if you can think of, if you've ever gone somewhere where everyone is just, really, really in a crappy mood, it's super negative, and like you walk in, and sometimes it can be really, really easy to just be negative with them. So you can kind of think of that with your business. If you are constantly thinking or projecting or whatever that you can't do this, or you don't know enough, um, it comes down to mindset, and you absolutely can. So you do need to be really, really intentional with what you are putting in your mind and what you're focusing on. Okay, so instead of focusing on the negative and where, the things that haven't gone right, or, oh my gosh, I only had one person sign up for this, or I don't know how to do this, how can you shift that? Well, you can shift that by focusing on where you want to be and then taking those steps in order to achieve that. So, for example, we don't know how long Corona is going to last. I know that it's probably going to be a little while, but if that is a big reason that has pushed you to try to grow your business, again, it's a phenomenal time to do that, especially because everyone is online these days. But you can focus on, say this is going to wrap March, April, May, June, in June. Okay, let's just say that. So you can focus on where you want to be in 3 months' time. All right, maybe things will start to be a little bit more normal, but imagine where your business can be if you're starting now and you are growing for those 3 months. Focus on where you want to be, not just where you are currently. So what do you see for your business in 3 months time? Or if you want to push it out further, you can say a year's time. What about 5 years? Visualize it. Put that in your mind and visualize it. Write it down. If you guys use Pinterest, I love Pinterest, but if you use Pinterest, you can create a private board, and you can actually create a vision board on that. So get specific and very intentional on what you want, and just really seeing yourself accomplish this. So I'm going to give an example. I know some of you know me and know that I was based in Singapore, and for a vision board, Sabine, I know you know this, for my vision board for 2018, very end of it, I was just trying to figure out what I wanted for the year ahead, what I wanted to accomplish in life and in business. And like I had this certain picture of, if you guys know Marina Bay Sands, it's like this big, gorgeous hotel thing in Singapore. And I had that on there. And anyway, in December of 2019, I hosted an RTS retreat in Singapore, and everything came together. Did not plan it, did not coordinate, did not whatever, but we ended up at MBS. Like everything just came true based on visualizing it and taking the action to follow through. But it's crazy how things can happen when you actually put it in your mind and you focus on it. And what you focus on really honestly does expand. So you need to have the right frame of mind and focus on the reality that you want to create versus the reality that you're currently in. So let me say that one more time. This is one of the best and fastest ways to progress and continually move forward in your business. Focus on the reality that you want to create versus the reality that you're currently in. Vision board is so powerful. Yes, definitely. Okay, so you see what you want. You know where you want your business to go and where you want to be in, let's say, 5 years time, or however long. If 5 years is too long, pull it back to a year, pull it back to 3 months, whatever. If that stresses you out, pull the timeline closer. That's totally fine. All right, so you visualize it. You figure out where you want to be. You see it, but you're still nervous. You don't really know how to achieve this. first of all, you are not alone. Every single person goes through that. No one really knows exactly what they're doing. We just keep going and figuring it out. But how do you combat that, and how do you work through that? All right. Well, first of all, I want to talk for a second about some struggles that are common for entrepreneurs. And I've literally struggled with every single one of these. And I know a couple of comments popped up, and a couple of you have struggled with this as well. But some of the really big mindset blocks that so many entrepreneurs have, and so many entrepreneurs face, could be anything from perfectionism, total perfectionist here. That's essentially where you don't want to do anything, or you don't want to put anything out until it's perfect. Imposter syndrome. So that, I guess the best way that I could explain that is, it's essentially like you don't feel good enough to be there, if that makes sense. Or shiny object syndrome. I think Cheryl mentioned that one earlier, but it's essentially where you're focusing on a million different things instead of just focusing on one. All right, I have struggled with every single one of these, and I'm losing my voice, so let me have a drink of water. Let me know in the chat box if you guys have struggled with those as well. Drink of Coke, actually. If you guys haven't had Mexican Coke, it is so good, and it's made with real sugar, and it's my favorite, and it's really hard to find. But anyway, okay, so something that was really powerful when a coach mentored me through, when I was talking about visualization, it's where you want to go versus where you are currently. So let's say right now, in this moment in time, you struggle with all of them or some of them. Definitely struggled with perfectionism. Imposter syndrome is real. Absolutely. It absolutely is. Shiny object syndrome. Yeah, that sounds like you guys struggle with all of these as well. Okay, so let's say you struggle with either everything has to be perfect, or no matter what you do, it never feels good enough, or you're constantly bouncing around from project to project to project to idea to idea to idea. All right, how do you overcome these things? You 2.0. What in the world is you 2.0? Well, this is actually something that one of my coaches suggested, and U 2.0 is essentially, instead of focusing on the negative obstacles that are tripping you up currently, think about U 2.0. So U 2.0 is where you want to be. So it comes full circle with visualizing and getting clear on what you want for the future. And essentially what you're going to do is you're going to step into U 2.0 and figure out, all right, what would U 2.0 do? Now you can change this to, what would CEO me do? Would CEO me, freak out about this color not working correctly, or just go ahead and push it out? Or would CEO me freak out about XYZ, or, not feel good enough? Okay, maybe sometimes, but they're still going to take action and push through that anyway. So sometimes it can be really, really helpful, at least for me, to think about it in a different, like me is kind of a different person, if that makes sense. So whereas me now is really scared and really struggling and doesn't know what to do, I can look at me in the future and, see CEO and, has done all this stuff, and like, it's easier to kind of step in those shoes, if that makes sense. So that was really, really, really helpful for me. And again, all of this is just mindset. So, you're going to constantly be working towards your goal. And that could be seeing yourself as a CEO of a massive company. It could be you have the freedom to do whatever, wherever, whenever, and run your own business. It could be living on a beach and, I don't know, drinking pina coladas and running a company remotely, whatever. It could be staying at home and raising your family while all of this crap is going on, and you still have job security and you are still impacting lives. So whatever that is, focus on that and hone in on that for you. All right, so to get to U 2.0, you can write down everything that's holding you back. Whatever that is: self-doubt, fear, perfectionism, lack of support, imposter syndrome, lack of motivation, too many balls in the air, if you're not feeling fulfilled with your work, if you don't have confidence. These are a lot of examples, but whatever it is, and whatever it is that you're struggling with, write it down. All right, and when you have everything out, get a new sheet of paper and write down how you 2.0 or next level you, whatever, write down what you are going to do. So maybe you 2.0 is confident, and you take action versus staying stuck in procrastination. You are incredibly motivated. You are happy and fulfilled. Maybe you are scared crapless that you do it anyway. So, whatever you 2.0 means for you, it is all about aligning your thoughts and training your mind to have a vision and look and work towards the reality that you want to create. And then you can kind of work backwards from there and determine how you're going to handle certain situations, or what you can do to achieve that reality that you're working towards. All right, so first of all, know that there are going to be hiccups along the way. There are going to be peaks and valleys, just like entrepreneurship is not a linear path. Entrepreneurship is crazy. But it's when you're training your mind towards the future and what the possibility is instead of being stuck in either the past or your current reality that you are going to make progress. And you're going to set yourself up for success to actually achieve your goals and, any of the dreams that you have. But it is so, so imperative to keep yourself focused and have the right mindset. So another thing right now, I'm on U12.3. Me too, Trevor. Honestly, Yuki still am. Yep. Something that I've really struggled with all of this mess with Corona, and I don't know if you guys do as well, but when I have the TV on and I constantly am hearing it, I want to find out what's going on in Singapore. I want to find out what's going on stateside. I want to find out what's going on in Europe and, all of this. And I'm worrying about a lot of people. And, I have parents with health issues and, we all have older family and just all of this. My mind literally just spirals and spirals and spirals. And I feel like crap. I don't really get anything done. And I'm in such a negative energy mindset, however you want to phrase that. And I really, really, really struggle. And then I have a hard time being productive. I have a hard time moving forward in business, and I'm just kind of blah. So that's a perfect example of what you're surrounding yourself with and how you're tackling things. And, what is around you can really, really affect you and really impact you. And it's not just you personally, like your business is kind of a connection of you, it's an extension of you in a lot of ways. So yeah, if you need to think about how mindset can be so, so important and just keeping yourself in, positive thoughts and good space, a good headspace, et cetera, you can think about having the TV on with everything in Corona. And side note, turning off the TV and limiting social media has helped so, so much. It's insane. I'd like to be like this too. That's why I ban media as good and I can focus on my business. Yes, exactly. You can make so much more progress. Not to say you can't, with everything going on. It's just you're in a different headspace, like at least I am. So so if you're currently doing that, I would definitely encourage you to try to take a step back from that and just focus on exactly where you want your business and your life to go. All right, let me lose my voice again. Sorry, that was a B. So many people get stuck wanting success and, maybe they see others having that success, but here's the thing. Maybe they don't have a clear picture of what they want. So success is different for every single person. So if you don't have a clear picture and you don't know exactly where you want your life and business to go, it's going to be hard for it to have a direction. So I would encourage you to get clear on that, because it can be really, really hard to move forward when you don't know what you want. So get specific, get as specific as possible. And this can change and evolve along the way. That's totally fine. But, let's just say, for example, okay, let's say I want to grow my business by June. All right, March, April, May, June. Yeah, 3 months. I want to grow my business by June. Okay, so June comes, June comes along, and I've got one more Facebook follower. I've got one more person in my group. I've got one more person on my email list, and let's just say those. Okay. I have grown my business. I have one more person following me here. I have one more person in my group. I have one more person on my email list. I have absolutely grown my business. But did I make any additional money? Did I sell out this course? Did I blah, 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 blah? I wasn't specific. So try to get as specific as possible. So I want to sign 2 more clients and have X amount of revenue. I want to grow my Facebook group by 100 people. I want to this. And this doesn't just have to be in business. I mean, this can be in life as well. You can take these strategies and apply them in several different arenas, but particularly in business, you want to get specific. So get as specific as possible, and then you can work backwards from there. All right. So getting clear on this can make a massive difference. And if you don't exactly know where you want to go right now, that's okay. You're not the only one, but you can continually hone in on this and continually work on it, and take a step back from it if you need to, but just visualize where you want to go. All right, try to get in the habit of that as well, I would say. I would love to. Okay, my negative mindset. Why would anyone want to spend money on me during this time? Okay, that is a awesome question. All right, so I had a couple of questions just come in about spending money right now. All right, one, why would anyone want to spend money on me that's non-essential during this time? And another one that came in was, oh, hold on, let me scroll up a little bit. Sorry, Andrea, I think I lost that one. Try sending that again, but it essentially, is it wrong to sell right now? Okay, you're growing your business. The economy is really tight for a lot of people. Millions of people are losing their jobs, et cetera, et cetera. It can be really hard to figure out. Same here. Yeah, same here. It can be really hard to get over that hurdle of, why would people want to buy from me? Should I sell right now? All right, honestly, well, I'm losing my voice again. I've seen that. I've seen a couple of different answers with that, and I'm somewhere down the middle. I think if you do not feel like now is a good time to sell, if you are struggling financially, so many people who are impacted and struggling financially, and you just don't have a good gut feeling about it, I think that's totally fine. I think that you can continue showing up, providing value, working on your mindset. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, it does boil down to a mindset thing. But a pandemic is also something that doesn't happen every day. So if that doesn't feel like something that is morally right for you or is unethical, don't force that. However, if you are using a pandemic as I don't want to say excuse, but that's the best word that I can think of right now, an excuse to hide and say, you know what, no one can afford this. No one can pay me right now. No one has the money. You are taking away other people's power. So right now, I don't know what everyone does here, but let's just say you're a financial services coach. Okay, let's just say that. And you're struggling with feeling like people can afford your services, or people can pay you, or you want to offer value, but you don't want to charge for it. Okay, that's okay. However, what if there's a family who could pay you $100 and you could help coach them through how to realign their budget, how they can save money with this, how they can do XYZ, and you're ultimately saving them $2,000. Honestly, at that point, I feel like we as service providers have a responsibility to cut through that noise and show up more than ever and offer those services. For people who can't afford it, for people who have lost their jobs and this is not the right time, they are not going to buy, and that is okay. You can keep showing up, you can keep giving value, you can keep being there, and when the economy, restarts, gets better, whatever, they are going to remember you. You are going to be there. You have provided all of this value, but don't let your own mindset or let insecurity or fear don't take other people's power away because you are afraid. So that's what I would say to that. So because it is a really tough time, that's okay. It's tough for everyone, but people are still buying and selling, and people need your services, especially online businesses, because that's what everyone is doing these days because of everything. So that would be my biggest piece of advice: is don't let your own fear and insecurity take away someone else's power. Especially because to not work doesn't help the economy. Yeah, exactly. You are so welcome. I do event planning and interior design, and I feel the same way. Like it's unethical, or morally it's not a good time to be offering. Or I'd love to get a little bit more detail on that if you would feel comfortable sharing that. All right. Okay. Holy guacamole. We're already half an hour in. Okay. Let me go ahead and move to number 2. All right, I guess it's the tonality which makes the difference. When that helps, mostly it's about being creative enough to find out if there's something you could do to help or show your condolences, if that makes sense. Yes, exactly. So I'm just going to read this comment. I guess it's the tonality which makes the difference. When that helps, mostly it's about being creative enough to find out. So if there's something that you could do to help or show your condolences, if that makes sense. Absolutely. So I'll go ahead and give an example on this. All right. So say you're an event planner, like I think Evelyn, you just mentioned. Oh, yes, unethical. Okay. Event planner. All right. Let's just go ahead and shift to that. Event planners and photographers. All right. You can, Evelyn, this is going to kind of cycle into both of these. But event planners and photographers have been, like, business has been decimated right now. Obviously, when you cannot be more than 6 feet in front of people, that's very, very hard to throw an event or to photograph a wedding, et cetera, et cetera. Something that you could do, let's say, for wedding photographers, I saw one of those in here earlier. All right, so you have 12 events that got canceled this year. All right, that's all of your income. So something that you could do is, instead of refunding it, I mean, you're obviously going to work with a couple, but you're also probably not going to be shifting and, marketing for June weddings, because that's not really feasible at the moment. However, sorry, there's a really loud thing back there. I hope that you guys can still hear me. Type in if you cannot, and I will try to move. Quarantine has moved me out of my office, but anyway. Okay, so what you can do is you can still work with those couples. For example, you can still work with them. You can still shift, push them out 12 months, 15 months to another date. And all right, as a client, you want to always keep your client in the forefront of your mind. So this is a traumatic experience for event planners, for photographers, for small businesses, but it's also very, very traumatic for couples for their wedding day. They've been planning this for 2 or 3 years. Bird chirps and sunshine are lovely. Okay, good. I'm glad you can still hear me. But something that you can do is keep your client at the forefront of your mind. And instead of selling, you can still work with them to shift things around. Or I don't know. I know in some states, you can't even get out at all. But something that some photographers were doing were a couple still went and got married, literally 6 feet apart, like at the courthouse, and the photographer still photographed, kind of like an elopement session. It was just the two people, and did that free of charge. All right, not that I'm saying you should do things free of charge, but that is a really, really tough time for couples right now. But the photographer figured out a way within state guidelines, within CDC guidelines, something that would be great for the couple. They could still get married. She was still a part of it, but it wasn't actually, it wasn't their massive, huge wedding, but she was still being a part of it and still being of service. And especially in face-to-face service businesses for event planning, photography, massage therapy, it is really, really hard right now. And you do really have to be creative. But something that you could do is you could create things and continue to provide value, show up for your audience. And this season will pass. It absolutely will. And right now is a good time to be getting things automated, getting your back-end processes in check, and just still being there for your clients, even if you're not able to show up for that event or show up for that wedding. Okay, so that actually segues us perfectly into number 2. How can you grow your business? Number 2, provide value. Provide value, provide value, provide value. All right, so this term is floating around literally all over Kingdom Come, but what does it actually mean? Well, it means that you can focus on how to best serve your audience and how your content can help them, and keep that at the forefront of your mind for everything that you do and everything that you create. So if you are first starting out, you don't really know your niche, you don't know who you want to work with, that's okay. The more that you do this, the more that you're going to figure out who you resonate with, who you enjoy working with. But when you're actually showing up, when you're creating content, when you're providing value, when you are focusing on, okay, I think I might like to work with this type of client, think about what can help them. So Palin does like in-person workshops. Palin, I'm not sure if you're still on here. You're welcome, Evelyn. Type in if you need more suggestions, and we'll go through some of that. Hi, Palin. Okay, so she does in-person workshops. Obviously, right now, not possible. These, okay. Obviously right now, not a possibility. So something that she has been doing before everything hit, but something if you are doing in-person workshops and you need to shift and kind of segue into something else, is actually doing those and offering them online. So maybe you can do a video of yourself, breaking down this art and craft. And Palin focuses on kids. So like she breaks down how to do certain things for, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong here, Palin, in comments, but live children workshops now. So I'm sharing my free craft printables. Okay, so she does live workshops and now she is sharing printables. So she's still able to provide value for her audience, even though she's not able to interact face to face with these kids and set up these parties and do all of these cool things. But she's still showing parents how they can do XYZ with these printables. Top 3 books with themes so parents can read with their kids. So she is still showing up. She's still being valuable. And when everything shifts back, she's still going to be at the forefront of their minds because she was still showing up in spite of all of this. So provide value and show up. All right. So let's say you're kind of on the fence and you're working on launching your business. Maybe you haven't quite done it yet, but you're working towards it. All right. In the meantime, you can start to compile blog posts that will help your ideal client and your target audience. Or let's say you want to be a social media manager and you help clients across Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest, just for example. All right, well, you can write blog posts about Instagram hashtags or how your audience can use those hashtags or how your audience can overcome a Facebook algorithm, to show up in front of more people. Or maybe you can write about, if you're doing Pinterest, you could do a training. Patricia, you're popping in my mind for this. I'm not sure if you're on here, but you could do a training for how people can use Pinterest to grow their business and what the steps are to take. So you can create blog posts, you could create Facebook posts, you can create content, and you can still be providing value, even if you are not completely sure about who you want to work with, what you want to do, how you want to do that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can still be providing value. And if you're writing any of this down, I would say clarity comes from action. So I'll say that one more time. Clarity comes from action. So when you're thinking about what you want to do or how you want to approach something or who you want to work with, that's in our minds. Like, that's great. We are clear on who we want to work with. All right, well, then something happens. So we're working with this niche. Well, then maybe we don't actually enjoy working with this niche. We don't know that until we actually start doing it. And until you actually start connecting with people, providing value, taking on clients, it's very, very hard to know who you resonate with and who you're actually wanting to work with. So you can still be showing up and providing value in spite of not being completely clear on your niche. What do you do? Oh, hi, Dee. Good to see you here. Clarity comes from action. Love that. Good. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So say you don't like writing and you don't want to do blog posts or whatever. That's okay. You can create videos or create a podcast or ebooks or just content that you're sharing on Facebook groups. So don't let the way that you are providing that content stand in your way of actually providing it. So I know sometimes like business coaches will pop on and say, oh my God, video is the new thing. Like you have to be on video if you ever want clients. Okay. I still struggle with video. I am 6 years into my business. I still struggle with video. So when I worked with her, guess what I did? I didn't want to do video, so I did nothing. You think that was helpful for me or my clients? No, was not. So focus on what you can show up for right now. This will evolve over time. You will get more comfortable with things over time. And you will also get more clarity on your clients, what content they resonate with, what platforms they like. Maybe they don't like Instagram. Maybe they like Facebook, whatever. You will figure that out as you go. But the important thing, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. The important thing is to show up and provide value and be there. Just write. Just record, just whatever. Just show up in whatever way that you can. Graphic designer, mainly corporate design and identity, presentations, mockups, templates, worked for media for a few years. Awesome. You can question with everything going on with graphic design. A lot of that is, virtual completely. have you noticed a big downward trend with clients or with interaction, or for anyone who has been in business for a little bit, have you noticed more interaction or less interaction? I'd love to hear that was how your experience was or is for that. Mine is definitely interaction is going up, visibility is going up. Why? Because everyone is online and everyone is trying to figure out how they can actually grow their business. So now is such an awesome time to be showing up and differentiating yourself and putting yourself out there. So I'd encourage you also to focus on what you can do to serve others. So when you focus on what you can give instead of what you can get, your business is going to shift in incredible ways, or it's going to grow if you're just starting out. So if you haven't launched yet, just keep that in mind at all times if you are struggling, because this will be a total game changer. And personally not, but I can thank my designer friends. Okay, that makes sense. That makes total sense. While we're on this, as far as focus on providing value, I would like to point out something about monetary gain with business. And you guys let me know in the chat box if you have a similar experience, or if you agree, disagree, whatever. I know that everyone needs money to live. Okay, it's just a fact of life. And chances are very, very good that you're not just creating your business just as a hobby, and you're not just wanting to work 80 hours a week just to make pennies and just scrape by, okay? Because that's not fun for anyone. So obviously, in order to have a business and not have a hobby, you do need to be pulling in revenue. But I do want to encourage you to focus on your audience and not just focus on the money that you're making, because I think that there's a big mindset, just a mindset block in there, if you will, because when you're only focusing on the money, it's really short-sighted, and it's not in your best interest. It's not in your client's best interest. It's hard to grow if you are just, focused on, oh my God, I want to make $100,000 this year, and that's all you're thinking about, and you're not thinking about your clients, and your blinders are on. Then it's very hard to get input and feedback and listen. And it really is just like a horse with blinders. Like, even though all of this information is coming in and all this stuff is happening over here, you're just focused on this, and it's I think it makes it a lot more difficult to actually get there. Your content will shift when you focus on your clients. Your income will go up when you focus on your clients. When you're focusing on how you can serve instead of just how much money you can make, there is a massive, massive shift. And that may sound counterproductive, but always keep your clients in the forefront of your mind and what their needs are, what their wants are, because they are the ones who are supporting your business. They are the ones who are paying your bills. So try to not just focus on that monetary gain. All right, we talking back to engagement. My Instagram engagement is down, but that's because I've sort of disappeared. I don't know what content to put out. Okay, content to put out. What have you been putting out? I find my hair is going everywhere. I find being intentional, as in the value we provide, builds better relationships with our clients. Yes, and if they like you, they'll ask what else you can do, give, sell, because there's trust already established. Absolutely. Amen. Absolutely. I'm going to shift back into this Instagram engagement comment. My Instagram engagement is down too, because I don't show up for Instagram. So definitely, if you're not showing up and you're not putting out content, people aren't going to engage. They're not going to interact. But what are you struggling with as far as what content to put out? Are you just not sure what your audience likes? Are you feeling like a mindset block? Are you what are you struggling with? Go into a little bit more detail on that if you don't mind. Okay, so bringing in value. Yeah, trust and loyalty is very powerful, especially now. Sorry, I know I'm jumping kind of around. I can feel that this is the reason why I keep my clients after all. Absolutely, Yuki, absolutely. For those of you who are newer in business, have you ever heard of the know, like, and trust factor? If not, the know, like, and trust factor is essentially people know you. So when you show up, people start to get to know you. When you're constantly putting out content, people like you. What? And if they don't like you, that's fine. They're not your audience anyway. And then people trust you. Well, when people are trusting you, people are more willing to buy from you. They trust what you say. If you recommend products, they're more likely to buy those. you've ever seen on the TV, like superstars or basketball players or whatever, they recommend something and everybody goes flocking there to buy it because they trust these people. And it's a little bit different in online business, but if you've ever sold to one client, it is actually much easier to retain a client than to get a new one. I can't remember the percentages, but it's a pretty significant percentage. So authenticity, quick trust builder, absolutely, absolutely, being authentic. I get clients from referrals, absolutely. When clients know, like, and trust you, they are going to refer you to other people, and I think word of mouth is the most powerful form of advertising, marketing, and it's also, I mean, it doesn't cost you anything, in your ad budget. And that's a really, really powerful referral. All my clients today are referrals. Awesome. Sabine, that's amazing. Okay. So yes to word of mouth. Yeah. Word of mouth. Once you can start bringing your value and you're showing up and you have established that know, like, and trust factor, you can start to funnel that into one-on-one work or paid courses or whatever it is that you're bringing into your audience. So when they know you, they like you, and they trust you, they're more willing to work with you. And then referrals, word of mouth, win-win-win for everyone. So how can you actually provide value to your audience? If you're not clear on that, that is totally okay. What you can do is you can poll your audience and see what they would like. You can see what others in your niche are doing. And I'm not saying copy, I'm not saying that at all, but if you need some inspiration or some ideas, you can ask what your ideal clients resonate with. So it's important to note two different things. I do not mean, number one, getting stuck on comparing yourself. And I recently spoke with a client about this she was comparing and just going down the rabbit hole as getting stuck. Oh my God, I see this person doing this and this and this. And initially she was trying to figure out, how to fashion packages and just get some inspiration. And it ended up turning into a rabbit hole of, oh my God, why am I doing this? I'm not, meant to be doing this. They're so much better than me, et cetera, et cetera. If that ever happens, turn everything off. Stop looking, stop comparing. You do not want to compare, because at the end of the day, there is more than enough work for every single person. Even if markets are saturated or niches are full, whatever, there is only, honest to goodness, there's only one you. There's only one person who can, do it this way, or who has the story that you have, or who can resonate in this certain way. There's only one you. So it does not help you. It does not help your clients if you're comparing yourself and going down that rabbit hole and not making progress. So if you find yourself comparing, stop. Turn everything off. Close those. If you need to get off of social media because you're, information overload and your comparisonitis, turn it off for 2 weeks, whatever. But I think that is one of the biggest things that can kill a business, is comparing. I think people with design skills are so important at this point in time. You peeps can bring beauty during this time. For instance, creating fun templates. Definitely. Definitely. Kaylin is very right. Okay. And second, don't just write something just to write it. So when I'm talking about bringing value, don't just write something just to post it on Facebook just so that you've posted it. It's more important to post something authentic and meaningful and helpful once a week than something short and sweet that nobody gets any value out of every single day. So if you're feeling like you need to post every single day, but you're having a hard time keeping up with that, try to take that pressure off of yourself and just focus on once a week or once a month. Even, well, I would say once a month is a little bit on social media. That's not so much, but do what you can to start with. If that's all that you can do right now, that's fine. And then work up to it. Just make sure that it is valuable. Make sure that it is relevant. And you're not just pulling it together and just pulling it out of your butt and posting it. So make sure that it has a purpose. So I would say just avoid the fluff, if that makes sense. And then go out and actually create. So once you're creating value, you want to make sure the right people are seeing it, which brings us to our third way that you can launch and grow your business. Get visible. Get visible, get visible, get visible. If you are creating awesome content, if you have a rock solid mindset and you are ready to go and you're not visible, you don't have a business. It's going to be very, very difficult to grow your business if you are not getting your content, getting your services, getting whatever it is out there so that people can see. So get visible, even with products. Products, trying consistency. Okay, Trevor, I know you will appreciate your skills even more if you ever see my doodles. All right, Trevor, you are product-based. Is that correct? I think you have art? Yes, you are product-based. Okay, I know that you had a question earlier about getting visible and, excuse me, sharing like your face and your story. Is that right? I think so. I'm going to go ahead and talk about that. All right, if you are, goodness gracious. Okay, hold on one second. I'm losing my voice. Honey, do I need honey? I probably do need honey. All right, so I work with online service-based businesses, so it is a little bit different from product-based. However, I think that it is still important to pull yourself. So that probably didn't make sense, but Trevor's question was essentially, he is a product-based business. He has social media, so he uses Facebook a lot and to promote his products. And he was asking if he should incorporate like information on himself, photos, part of his story, and also stay visible. I think that was part of your question, Trevor. Yes, I would say so. So one thing with actually showing up, sharing your photo, sharing a little bit about your story, people have a face with a name, and people have someone that they can, if it's not relate to, it's a friendly face. It's someone that they know. You're not just, a minion behind a computer. Like, they actually know that you are a real life person who is making these gorgeous steel products that you're selling. So it helps to know a little bit more about who you are. I have a friend, Pat, I think you're still on here, but I know she's not the biggest fan of like posting photos and stuff like that. She has a wildly successful business and she's freaking amazing at what she does. Still here. Hi, Pat. But she really find it very hard to show my face on social media. I'm getting a lot of comments. I don't like showing up on social media. Yep. It can be really, really intimidating because when you are putting yourself out and you are showing your face and you're sharing a little bit about your story, and I'm not saying sharing about, all of the things that, you can share about what you've overcome and, how you've got to where you are. Make sure if you are sharing your story, you are doing that from a place of empowerment and not victimhood. But when you are sharing more about yourself, your story, where you came from, your picture, there is a face with a name. You're not just some random person behind a computer. And, like if you think of, I know this is a massive company worldwide, I think everyone knows. So let's say Amazon. All right, Amazon, obviously it's a big company, but there's no face with a name. There's not just a small local mom and pop shop who is selling products, whatever. It's a lot different for a small business. And I think a way that a small business can differentiate themselves is to actually share a little bit about themselves, because people resonate with your story and they want to hear more about you and see your face. And obviously it's, they love the products and they like what those do for them, and or if they're decorative or whatever it is. But it really, really helps tie everything together, even if you're just doing a, introduction once a month or something, just for your new people, if that makes sense. Not confident too. I love managing my client's social media, but too lazy to update my own. You're welcome, Trevor. Feel free to ask more in the chat box if you need to. Too lazy. Yeah, Cheryl, I'm the same way. I really don't like managing social media. I'm really not a fan. But that's why they're social media managers. So that's really, really helpful. Okay, so holy guacamole, we're already at an hour in. I will try to make this quick. Are you guys still okay on time? There is this is the last one, so I'll try to make this fast. So anyway, once you're crystal clear on what you want the big picture to look like, and you are actively working through those mindset blocks, you can really start to work backwards. So if you remember when we first started talking, we said June, so 3 months. So here you are today. In June is the 3-month mark, and you want to grow your email list by 50, and you want to sign 1 client. Okay, so that is a clear, tangible goal. All right, how can you actually do that? Work backwards. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and figuring out how you can take these steps to get here, it's so much easier to have your goal here and then break it up in small chunks. So different people have different ways of doing this. You can break it up by month. You can break it up by quarter if you have like a 1-year goal or a 5-year goal or whatever. You can break it up into tiny little piece by piece things. It depends on what works best for you, but you really want to be breaking it up and working backwards, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. The long-term goal is to list on the Minion Machine Amazon. Okay. Well, in the meantime, before you do that, before you get there, you can still show up and share your story. All right, so if you don't quite know how to show up and actually get visible, you can play around with things. You can see what you enjoy. I think it was Cheryl who just mentioned she wasn't a big fan of updating her own social media. I'm not either. But a lot of my clients hang out on Facebook and in Facebook groups, for example. So you better believe that is where I'm showing up and, providing value and interacting and engaging. So I didn't know that until I started playing around with things. I had Instagram for a while, LinkedIn, still using Pinterest, which is great. But your clients are going to be in different places. You're going to resonate with different platforms, and you're going to like doing different things. And for those platforms that you don't like or the things that you don't enjoy, once you do grow to a certain point, outsource. That is like the best thing ever. YouTube sounds like a great fit for you. Yeah, it does. It really does, actually. Trevor, go ahead and type in your URL. I think it's Steelworks. It's a Facebook, but anyway, we can open that up. Okay, so as far as getting visible, what I would encourage you to do is every day take some action to get visible. Every day do something, even if it's scary. And I'm not telling you right now, go and do like a live video every day on your Facebook page to gain traction, whatever, if that scares the crap out of you. Do what you are comfortable with, but also what will push you enough. So right now, if you are not active, if you haven't shown up, if you're nervous to post whatever, just post something. Post, if you don't know what value to bring, post a picture of yourself. If you're scared to post a picture of yourself, do a list, 5 ways to make this thing for kids, whatever. Just do something that is going to push you a little bit out of your comfort zone and do that over and over. And I know that sounds really scary, and honestly, it is really scary. Fear is a natural reaction of our brain to keep us safe, and doing these things that put us out, especially on the internet where people can be really mean and, they don't know you and they can say these things, it can be really, really nerve-wracking. But with that said, when you are first starting out, generally speaking, I would say 99.99999 continuing percent of the time, people are going to be very, very receptive. People are going to be very kind. People are going to be very supportive. People are going to be very appreciative. Not always, but usually you do not have to worry about people being hateful or mean or anything like that until after you do have a significant audience. So if that is scaring you, try to not let that hold you back. And if it is, go back to the mindset stuff. Work through, okay, why am I scared of this? Write it down. You can journal. You can do affirmations. Again, I know some of this sounds like mumbo jumbo stuff if you've never done it before, but honest to God, it works. Like, it is really what shifted my business. So focus on that. Focus on why you're scared and what one baby step you can do to grow and to put yourself out there in spite of that fear, and then go do it. After we practice, it's no longer scary. Yes, exactly. Let me roll up. It's only scary because it's new. This webinar is showing my. Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah. Steel artisans. Okay. Show behind the scenes what we are working on. They are still personal, but not too intimidating, like showing our faces. Yes, absolutely, Dee. Sorry, I'm just trying to go through some of these. I don't believe in creating a vision board and hate managing my own social media, but now I realize how important they are. Cheryl, absolutely. Yeah, I was seriously the same way. I think I mentioned before, like, I've been in business since 2014. I literally rolled my eyes. first group program I did, like the first module was all on mindset. And I was like, this is so stupid. Like, why can't we just skip forward? I don't need to work on this. Well, guess what? I really, really did. And like, I know that, oh, I wish that I could like go back and I wish that I could just, oh, just convey like how much that has been such a shift in my own business. And really honestly, it is what caused things to actually explode, is when I got clear on a lot of the crap that was holding me back, and I figured out what I wanted for the future. And like, I used to make so much fun of people, and that sounds awful, and I would never do that now. I'm telling you how Rhiannon was in 2014, not the best person, but anyway, um, it is so important, and it can be such a game changer in not just your business but also your life, but particularly in business and just working forward. Like before COVID, it's a skinny sheep, stockpiling its fat. Creativeness is so much better in a group, definitely. I serve the community through my nonprofit, and I keep telling people I do what I do out of love, not out of fear. I need to implement the same love over fear in my business, not just my profit. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of that, Evelyn, a lot of it really does boil down to mindset, and just if you're struggling with self-worth, or having a hard time charging for your services, I would say you can start small, which is totally fine. You can start small, and then work your way up from there. But oftentimes self-worth does boil down to a mindset or fear of charging or raising prices, or any of that. Sheep will come with toilet rolls. Absolutely, the sheep will come with toilet rolls. Okay, I had a couple other questions. Da, 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 da. All right, I'm scared to market myself. That thought alone is scary and often makes me think whether I can do business at all. Okay, yeah. Trying to figure out how to market yourself can be really, really, really intimidating, especially if you are nervous to share your picture or put your face out there, or yeah, just put yourself out there. But I would say for that, it's just taking baby steps. And I know that you have taken baby steps, as far as like putting yourself out there and showing up, but just know that what you're offering, literally what every single one of you are offering, is valuable, and people need that. So don't discount that. And again, what I mentioned in the beginning, don't take other people's power away by not charging. And also, like, things, with the exception of COVID, but particularly with COVID, like, things are really, really tough now, but things are not just tough for, this person over here and this person over here. Like, small businesses are getting hit as well. And like, you have to feed your family and you have to put food on the table as well. And if you're not selling, it's really, really hard to do that. I started small, literally started at $2 an hour, but my client convinced me to increase my rate. Good. I was so hesitant and not confident, but I thought that if my client trusted me, then why should I be afraid? Absolutely. That sounds like a really, really awesome client. Cheryl, that sounds like a really, really awesome client. Also, something else I would say that is a really, really low price point. Cheryl, if you don't mind, would you mind sharing where you're from? Something I think people also, how do I phrase this? Philippines. Okay, perfect. Oftentimes, I think it can be really, really difficult when you are working in economies that have a different rate than USD, and the cost of living may be lower. It can be easier to justify why you're not charging higher prices. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but just because someone can get something for whatever here, in the Philippines versus here in the UK or the US or whatever, you are still bringing so much value to the table, and you are still offering so much. So try to not be afraid to ask for what you're worth. And I don't always like that phrase, because a lot of what we're worth is in our minds, and just just because other people don't see our worth, those aren't your people. So I'm trying to figure out a way to best convey this, but especially in economies that are, the exchange rate may not be as much as USD to, I'm not confident, to another rate. Don't discount yourself, especially if if you know what you're doing, which you do, and you're working towards that. So I'm not confident because I'm a Filipino due to language barrier, my educational background, didn't finish college, etc. Okay, first of all, let's break through that really quick. That doesn't matter. That does not matter. It does not matter if you don't have a PhD or didn't finish whatever. What matters is what value you can bring to your client. So what specialty do you do, if you don't mind sharing? Set your price in relation to your quality and value. If you're not as confident, ask friends and clients about your qualities. Yep, exactly. The fact you're in here shows that you're smart. Exactly. Yeah, I would love to know what industry you're in, but let's just say right now, for someone who is a virtual assistant, okay? Oh, perfect. Virtual assistant, social media management, graphic design, and website management. Okay, these are specialized skills. These are specialized skills. So it makes me really angry when people. Have you ever had clients who would say, "I'm not paying that because you're from somewhere else"? Have you ever experienced that? I learned that on my own watching YouTube tutorials. Exactly. These are specialized skills, and the clients that are coming to you most likely are coming to you because of your expertise, and they're coming to you because you can get the job done. And either they don't know how to do it or they don't want to learn how to do it, take the time to do it, whatever, and they want someone who can go and do that for them and take care of it. They are focusing on the problem that you can solve for them. So maybe they need help with, I don't know if you use, let's say, WordPress or whatever. They need help setting up their website. They don't want to learn how to do it. They need someone who can take care of that for them. This is the problem that you solve. That is a specialized skill. I would really, really, really encourage you to try to bump up your prices a little bit. I know that that's really, really scary, but you are bringing so much freaking value to the table. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what education you have. None of that matters. It's about what you can bring and what you are doing and what you are offering to your client, and you are solving a massive pain point. And especially, it's even more impressive that you learned all of that on your own. Those are even skills you can't learn in schools, not even taught here in the Philippines, even if you studied marketing. I've compared Philippines economy to South Africa, and I believe you should be charged. Yeah, I totally agree with Sabine. What you can do, what something that you can do is you can work with your existing clients, and you can let them know that you are going to be increasing your rates. And when you're first starting to increase your rates, it is terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. Something that kind of helped me, and I don't know if this will help everyone, but when you're thinking about setting your rates, okay, so Sabine, I know I've done this with you, but it's called like the gut feeling. All right, so right now you're at this base price, okay? So then you can think about your like highest price ever, okay? So say your highest price right now, you said you 7, so afraid to charge 10. All right, so say your highest price that you feel like you absolutely want to throw up at thinking about charging is 15. Okay, so right now you're 7, and you want to absolutely throw up thinking about 15. A good way to do the gut feeling is to kind of find a middle ground. So Cheryl, if I said, how does 10 sound? And you're like, oh my God, it's still like, I cannot think of telling people that. I'm going to barf. Like, I cannot do this. Okay. All right. So what did I just say? Did I say 10? I think I said 10. Okay. So you're at 7. 10. 10 makes you want to throw up. All right. So I say, okay, what if you do 8? Okay. You bump up and you're like, okay, 8 feels good. 8 feels good. Okay. Well, what if I do 9? Oh, like I feel like I'm going to get sick, but I really like the thought of 9 and I'm worth 9. And obviously this is not scientific at all, but it comes down to your feeling. And if you are not confident charging a certain amount, whatever the reason is, whether that is because mindset blocks or the economy or whatever it is, if you are not confident in that, it is going to be difficult for clients to sign on for that, because you're exuding confidence. And when you know that you have all of these awesome things that you can bring to the table and you are worth every penny, which you absolutely are, then it is that confident goes forward and clients see that, and if you don't believe in yourself, it's very, very hard for clients to believe in you, if that makes sense. But at the end of the day, it is absolutely about mindset. But take those baby steps. And if I can tell you all day long, you're worth $25 an hour. But if you don't believe it, you're not going to get that. So take those baby steps and just do that gut feeling and just try to bump that up. You can work with your existing clients. I don't know if you do long-term retainer packages, but if you do, what you can do is you can tell them that you are, as of June 1st, you're going to be bumping your rate up by $1 an hour. Okay. And if they're not okay with that, then you're making space for someone else. You're making space for a client who will pay your rates. And there are business coaches out there who are charging $100,000 for packages, and people pay it. And maybe they bring the same value as someone charging $1,000, but the difference is they believe in themselves. They are confident. And I know that this is like a massive, massive, massive jump. Like that's a crazy, it's very, very different. But my point is, if you are confident in that and you see the value in what you're bringing, and you can actually make this transformation for people and you solve this problem, you're worth every penny. And when you're confident in that and you sell yourself in that, people will work with you. People will purchase your services, et cetera, et cetera. But I would encourage you to try to bump that up, especially. Yeah, that's what I would say. I love the gut feeling, because it is a way that you can like physically, your body will physically do a reaction, like your stomach will turn, or your heart will race, and you can kind of tell when your heart is racing because there's no way in the world that you feel like you could do this, but also you can tell when your heart is racing because you're excited and this is bringing you a lot of possibilities. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I rambled on that, but anyway. I've experienced a lot that people who care and are willing are sometimes the better workers because of their will to do things and not just get paid for their salary. Yeah, exactly. And I think that people who are not just in it for the money are the people who are in it for the long haul, and they do enjoy what they're doing. There is a difference. You work with a designer who loves designing, and he or she is just, they light up when they're working on the branding and pulling everything together. And there's a big difference in that and someone who's just like, oh my God, I really need money right now. Oh, I really need this website. Okay, yeah, I'll do it for you. There's a massive difference, and people do go above and beyond. And yeah, okay. I had a couple more questions. Market myself. All right, I got that. Oh, I had 2 questions on automation. Trevor, I know you had one of these, and Nadine, I think you had that as well. All right, the thing that still gets confusing to me is how to take advantage of automation when you're a one-man show. Seems like I'm always playing catch up, and I can't find the time, come up with content and creating it, to plan the things out in advance for the automation. How far in advance should I plan, where to get content, and what happens when I run out of content? Okay, one thing I would say about content, so you're creating content for your audience. You're figuring out who you want to work with as you go and what kind of content they resonate with and what you really like. Repurpose that. Repurpose. So if you're creating a long form blog post, you can repurpose that, chunk it down into 10 social media posts and a podcast episode and a Facebook Live and Pinterest posts. So you can repurpose, and I would absolutely encourage you to repurpose. And you can break that down and share that in a million different ways without reinventing the wheel. So Nadine, for that, I know that you're on Instagram, and I'm not sure if you're really on Facebook, but any of the content that you're creating, I know you're doing a lot of visuals, you can post in multiple places. So just repurpose that. And then as far as automation, Trevor also had a question. Any product related tip and future automation? Okay. So when you're automating, what you can do is you can set things up. If you have like an email list, or it depends on your industry, but let's say you've got an email list. That's one good thing you can automate. And you've also got contracts that you're working with your clients on. You can set all of that up automatically. So anything that is a process that you're going to be doing over and over and over, or, if you're sending the same contracts with different names and prices and all of that. But you're sending these contracts to all of your clients. That's something you're doing over and over. If when someone signs up for your email list, you're sending them a welcome email, and then you're letting them know who you are, whatever. That's over and over and over. So you can automate those. So in order to do that, Trevor, I know that you're product based, so yours would not be contract. But even in this time of chaos, what you could do is you could go to MailChimp, for example. That is a free email marketing campaign, and you could share a little bit about your products. You can share tips on how to use this or do that or whatever. You can share a little bit of info about you and your story. You can share your client testimonials, but you can put all of that in an email sequence once, and then that cycles through and automates. So instead of having to worry about, oh my God, somebody signed up for this, or, oh, I'm so excited, someone hired me, but now I have to do all of this stuff and tweak their contract and all of that, you can automate it. So Nadine, with the contracts, you Dubsado, Honeybook, Hello Bonsai, 17 Hats, any of these contract, what are they called? CRMs, content, customer relationship management. Anyway, you can set them up, leave the fields blank, or they can propagate, and all of that is already automated. So for example, if someone hires you to do surface pattern design, and they're going to get rights to this and licensing for that or whatever, and that contract looks very similar across the board, then you already have that. They can pay their deposit, they sign their contract, it goes through what's called a workflow, just like boom, 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 boom. Literally saves you hours and hours and hours of time. And right now, if things are not super busy because of everything going on, we're not able to get out and, go have coffee and, go meet up with friends, whatever, it's a really, really good time to be setting that up. All right, Trevor, I'm using WhatsApp to claim data. Do I need a website? Okay, Julia also had a question on websites. I've never made a website. I'm not sure what cost-effective, trustworthy companies are available to help with marketing and website building. I'm using WhatsApp to claim data. Hi, Julia. Hi. Oh, I'm so excited to see you're still here. Julia, I know I sent you a couple of info on that, but to answer these questions, when you are first starting out, your website is not your most important thing. When you're first starting out, you are working through your niche. You are working through what content you create. You're working through who you like to work with. A website, especially hiring someone when you first start out for $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever, is not your most cost-effective way to, in my opinion, also coming from a previous website designer, is not the best bang for your buck, and also not the best use of your time, because things are going to change. With that said, I don't think that it's a bad idea to throw up just something simple, not using Wix. Guys, don't use Wix. Pat can agree with me on that. But just set up something simple with, your name, your information, how people can contact you, maybe a little bit about your services. Patricia's saying, yep, don't use Wix. So setting up your website in the very, very beginning stages, I don't think is the best use of your time, because things are going to shift. Now, if you want to have something small, again, just it's called a landing page. It's just like one page where people can get a little bit of information about you. That is awesome. As you're starting to grow, you can add to that. As you're honing in on your voice and your niche, and you're refining your products and your services, that is a great time to start diving into that. But until you are crystal clear on who you're working with, what you're offering, what packages you have, I don't think that that's the best use of your time, if that answers your question. There are, I know, Julia, we were talking about this. Which WordPress? Okay. I always recommend WordPress, and Patricia, who's also in here, she builds websites on WordPress as well. I'm just going to share a link here if you're curious about what the differences are, and also there's hosting providers. Julia, I know I already sent this to you, but hosting. Watch me not be able to find the link. Anyway, okay, when you start typing in website providers and you type in Google, I want to build a website, Wix is going to be the very first one that's popping up. If you've already built your website on Wix, it's totally fine. It is totally fine. But if you have not started yet, I would caution you to stay away from them because they own your content. They jack up prices when you're going to renew. It's very, very hard to get out from them. They advertise themselves as like a low cost, easy drag and drop builder, but it's just when you start to grow, they become a lot more of a hassle. Now, WordPress has got, Julie was asking for some recommendations. So WordPress has got a bit of a learning curve. There's two different options, and that link goes through them. But which WordPress? There's WordPress.com, which is the free one, and WordPress.org. So if you use WordPress.com, then your website would be trevor.wordpress.com instead of trevor.com, if that makes sense. So it can be really, really confusing when you're first starting out. Let me also, WordPress. We are also going through and fixing some things on here, but yes, .org is .com is the free self-hosted. .org is the paid. If you need help when you're first starting out trying to build your website, it's just a free. It walks you through how you can build it. Walks you through how to purchase and install your theme. But when you are first starting out, it is not the most important thing. Honestly, the most important things I think are those three things that we talked about earlier. Just getting a really, really good, solid mindset, providing value, and getting visible, and just keep showing up, and just take that intentional action every single day, even when it is so freaking scary you want to barf. Okay, so let me go through. I think that was most of the questions. Okay, what was needed on a website when you are first starting out? I would put information about yourself if you're just doing like a simple landing page. So like a picture of yourself, a little bit of info like, hi, my name is Trevor and I do this, and I sell blah, 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 blah. And then, if you have a contact form, I would put that on there, or a way to contact you. So that people can get in touch. If you mostly use social media, you can add that, but don't think that this needs to be some massive production. Okay. Okay, Julia, I'm going to pull one of your questions from earlier. I'm trying to recruit my own clients rather than going through business, and I am not an expert at marketing, so I'm studying up a bit on how to do that. Julia, would you mind sharing what it is, if you're comfortable, would you mind sharing what it is that you are doing as far as like what types of clients is it that you want to recruit? Because I know I think your business model is a little bit different, but essentially it can be the same steps that we went over. It's just, where are your clients hanging out? I know that yours may not necessarily be on social media, so refresh my memory if you don't mind, if you are still here in the comment box. But still, just showing up, providing value, and getting visible. If people don't know that you exist, it's very, very, very difficult to sign clients, to meet people, to make an impact, because people don't know that you're there. Okay. All right, let me see if there are. All right, I edit scientific manuscripts, typically for English as a second language clients. Ideally, you're a PhD in healthcare practitioners. Okay, Julia, where do they usually hang out? I know right now you go through a company to find them, but do you know of any that are there companies that do this specifically? Asia in particular, okay. Scientific manuscripts, typically for English as a second language. Ideally, they're a PhD in healthcare practitioners. Right now, you find everyone through your own company, right? Like your clients subcontract the work, right? I think that's how that works. Correct. And I'm trying to think about where you could. I don't know where you would go. What about like ResearchNet or now I want to find my own clients. I'm thinking of marketing at universities and through journals. Okay, I was gonna say like ResearchGate.net, JSTOR. Universities, I think, would be a really good place. Okay, I think your situation is going to be a little bit different because this is a very, very, very specialized field. I do think you will need at least some semblance of a landing page that does share a little bit of information? And also, do you have any previous clients that you can pull recommendations from and get references from? Because that is going to be really, really helpful, especially if you're not able to take word of mouth and share that you're doing this and you're starting out on your own. But I think that is a really, really good idea to start reaching out to universities and particularly journals. You could also reach out to, unfortunately, no, due to the business I contract with having no competes. Okay, that makes sense. So when you're first starting out, I would focus on your skills, your specialized skill set, maybe how long you've been doing it. Obviously, you're not going to share the companies that you've been working with if you signed a NDA and a non-compete. But what you can do is you could even reach out to independent universities, like smaller universities, particularly ones that are doing things online and funneling people to publish in journals, and just reach out to them and let them know what you are doing. But for that, I do think it will be a very, very beneficial thing to have just a simple website, because this isn't necessarily marketing on social media. This isn't trying to find clients in Facebook groups or anything like that. You're actually targeting a very, very specialized niche. So I think independent universities, smaller universities would be a really, really good idea. You could also do, I'm trying to think of like a lead magnet of how you could find people. Anyone else who's on here, if you guys have ideas for Julia, feel free to pop them in the chat. Yeah, I do agree. If you can get one client, it will be very, very helpful. But I think a lot of this may end up being like cold pitches and just reaching out to universities. So even Julie, where you got your PhD, like you could reach out to people there, because you already have kind of a foothold there. And like independent universities, like smaller universities, I think would be a really, really good place to start. And then just get get your information together, make sure it looks really professional. There's try to make no like spelling errors, and just tell them what you're doing. And when you're first starting out, you could even, I don't know how this works with your current company, but you could even start out doing kind of like a beta test. And I'm not saying to not get paid for what you're doing, but to make sure that it's a good fit. They have an incentive. They're working, they're supporting a small business instead of this massive conglomerate who just subs things out. And then you could also do something where you work on what's called retainer. So like they would hire you for like 3 months for however many journals, or for 6 months at however many journals, and you have job security for at least the next 3 months or 6 months, or however you do it. But doing like a paid beta would make sure that you're a good fit for them, they're a good fit for you. Because also you don't just want to take on any client because they're offering money. And I know that can be really hard when you're first starting. This is for everyone. But just because they're willing to pay, if they're like sucking your energy, sucking your time, you really don't like working with them, usually it's better to just let them go and focus your energy on their clients who are a better fit for you. So it's hard to sign a 6 month contract when you don't exactly know who you're working with, and they end up not being the best client. So trying to pitch and just starting that out small, I think, is a really good way to do that. Love the idea of a retainer. I never considered that. You were awesome. Oh, thanks. Let me know how that goes. I definitely hope that works. With COVID-19, there could be new journals being published and more in the near future. Search for. Yeah, that's very true. That's very, very, very true. And Julie, I don't know how this was for your PhD. I know for mine, I'm having to go through so many journals, but like ResearchNet, JSTOR for journals, anywhere that has a lot of journals could also be a good reference place to start, and just kind of start filtering through that. And I think that it is going to take a significant time investment at first, but that's a good way to start getting your feet wet and putting yourself out there. You can generally tell quite early on if you will, I think that means like go on well with the client. Yeah, usually. And there are usually really big red flags. And just, if you have a gut feeling, usually try to listen to that. I know that that's easier said than done, especially when you're starting out. And it's so exciting to have clients and have interest, but if they're not a good fit, like we all go through tough clients, and we all live and learn. But if you can avoid those, it's really, really nice. Also, if people send you messages, random side note, everyone probably knows this, but if you ever get messages in your social media or your email inbox or whatever, and a client is saying, "Oh my God, I love your stuff," a potential client is saying, "Oh my God, I love your stuff. I want to do XYZ. I'm gonna send you $1,000, and your price point is 500, but I need you to pay this vendor, and I need you to do this and this and this, and send that money to someone else to pay for this." Don't do it. It's a total scam. It's a total scam. People are still falling for it. If you ever have to send money to someone else, it is a scam. Don't do it. Okay. Get along. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think that is most of the questions. How are we feeling, guys? Anyone have any more particular questions? Great, thank you. Oh, thanks, girl. Yeah, if any more pop up, obviously feel free to just shoot me a message in the chat that I'll send through to me. And I clicked the wrong button. Oh no. Oh no. Can you guys see me? I clicked the wrong. Okay. Oh yeah. You can tell that this is a new software because I'm kind of an epic fail at it. Anyway, so with those, I would say no matter where you're at in your business, just really, really focus on your mindset. Really focus on your mindset. If you do nothing else, focus on your mindset. Focus on getting visible and providing value for your clients. And if you are still struggling with this, if you do need a little bit of additional support, I don't believe in discounting products. I just don't. Even Black Friday, I know that there are like specials and sales and all of that, but you are bringing value to your clients. You are offering a transformation. You are making a difference. And I think, I don't think there's any reason for that to be discounted. But with that said, I know that things are a little bit tough at the moment. So anyway, if you are still struggling, if you do need a little bit of additional support, if you are ready to just create a rock solid business, even in times of chaos, and turn your hobby into a legit business and really just launch your daydream, there is a 4-week course coming up. Starts April 1st. I'm going to drop a link for that now. It is 30% off through tomorrow. There's more info on that sales page. It is there we go. That launched. Okay. Yeah, called Launch Your Daydream. Small group program, and we'll give you all of the basics as far as just diving a little bit more into detail of what we talked about now. And in addition, we will get you clear on the absolute foundations of your business and help you figure out who your target market is, your niche, and really get visible with content that converts. So there's some more info in that. I really, really thank you so much, everyone, for coming and hopping on and participating. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to put it in the chat box. It should send to me. You can also send me an email. I'm just going to type this here, hello@flameandarrow.com. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day. I know in Singapore it's getting really late, almost midnight. Thank you guys for hanging out with me this long. And anyway, have a wonderful weekend. Take care, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye. Good night.